don't know about you, but I couldn't be in that position for any length of time. It gets rather uncomfortable for me. I've arthritis in the neck and up the top of the back, so staying in that position for a few minutes would just do me in. But anyway, welcome to my channel. Thanks for calling by. Right, today I've come to a small nature reserve that's very close to me, St Chad's Water. It's just one big pool with a circular walk all the way around it. Attracts a lot of wildfowl, ducks, geese. I can see some crested, plenty of swans, quite a few Canada geese, grey lag. The purpose of today's video, short video, so I'm really going to be doing a bit of a review of Field Monitor by Feelworld. As I said before, getting down to get those shots at eye level on the ground for me is quite difficult because I have like an arthritis in the neck and top of the back. Being in that kind of position is uncomfortable and painful, and if I was to stay in that situation for a few minutes even, I'll be paying for it the rest of the day. So that is what the Field Monitor is for. The Field Monitor is something that you connect to the HDMI output of your camera, and it mirrors exactly what you've got on your screen or on your menus when your menus are up. But you have quite a bit more than that. I'll just go through some very basic descriptions, showing you basically how it works, and I'll have a more detailed review at the end. So let me try and get set up. So as you can see, the Field Monitor connects to your camera body via HDMI, and then the cold shoe mount adapter fits in, and you basically put it in position. It can be tilted, turned. So if I were to go into menu mode, I can see my menu just as much. Obviously, operating the camera is on the camera itself again. So let's just have a look at how it performs. The monitor itself has various other features as well, such as to pinch, to zoom, and to come out. You can control how bright the screen will be, and this is very important if you're having the sun in the back. Now it's very dull and a bit misty in places here today. The sun has come out once or twice, but it's gone back in again. However, I have used it in full daylight with the sun straight behind my back, and I didn't have to increase the brightness of the monitor much more than 50%. That still was visible in sunlight. So that's a very important thing you need to look for if you're thinking about getting a Field Monitor. I'll explain that in more detail a little bit later, but just for now, let's just have a play. Now normally I would have this a little bit closer to the ground as well, a bit lower, and I will be sitting on another seat which is quite a bit lower with that. As you can see, it's very comfortable. You're getting used to sort of like focusing and that through the screen. This morning I've come out to a bright sunshiny day next to one of my smaller nature reserves, just a quarter of a mile up the road. Unfortunately there's nothing on the pond, but I'm just going to be trying out the Feelworld LUT6 6-inch field monitor. I don't know if you can see that, but quite clearly, even in the sun, I'm not actually shadowing it out. If I move over, it's in my shadow in the full sun, and I'm not on full brightness. So what is this like, basically like for me sitting down? Let's have a look. A lot bit off. That's more like. So I'll be quite with that. Right, so I'll head home. I'll do the second part of this video back in my studio. So see you later. Right, so this is the field monitor I purchased online. The Feelworld LUT6, but it's in a different case than the actual brand it is. This is an anti-cynic case, which is another brand of these cheaper ones. So let's have a look what we actually got inside it. The actual monitor itself. With that we got HDMI to micro lead, a HDMI to mini HDMI lead, a battery charger, and the bracket to mount into your hot shoe on your camera. First of all, I got rid of that. Second, I didn't use any of these. We're on the Z9 and the Z8. They are both normal size HDMI leads. So I got rid of that. And I got rid of that. And I purchased a small rig hot shoe adapter and the standard HDMI coiled. Better to get one of these rather than these cumbersome sort of like straight leads. They're a little bit stiff and can actually put undue stress on the HDMI sockets on both your camera and your field monitor. Let's say a little bit more of a look on this Feelworld LUT6 field monitor. And forget that tape measure. It is pretty much 6-inch viewable screen. I've left the screen protector on, as I always do with all sorts of things like this. So what do we have on this? Let's look at underneath. Headphone port. You can get a 12 volt DC in, and then we can convert that to a 8.4 volt DC out, which might power some cameras as well. We have an SD card slot. This is for loading your LUTs or your LUTs or your lookup tables, which are all to do with sort of like, you know, colour balance and white balance and things like that. So that's on the bottom. It's a 1/4 inch standard sort of like tripod head mount, which I can then attach this to. and then it slips into your hot shoe on top of your camera. At the back we can see, there we go, SF970 is the battery type. LUT6 6-inch, input power 12 volt, output power 8.4 volt. Battery slips into there. Now I need to remember this, because the first time I tried to get that battery out I was tugging away at it like one. But there's a release clip here, you simply push and it slides out. Fan on the back. Now the fan will run when your screen brightness gets above a certain level. You can actually sort of override that, but then again you see you'll run the risk of overheating. So what have we got on the top? On the top is a power on button and a menu jog wheel. This can also be depressed as well. We'll show you what the screens are like when we get to that part. On the side again we have another tripod mount. On the side is HDMI in, and there's a loop through HDMI out, so you can connect this to another monitor, or if you can with a capture device into a recorder. That's about it. That's what it looks like. What we'll do then, we'll have a look at the menus for it and see how it performs in the real world. Well, in my bedroom. Right, let's look at some menu options that we have on this monitor. First one I'm going to look at is the power button. If you press it once, it turns off the touchscreen function. Press it once again, turns on the touchscreen function. If you double tap anywhere on the screen, brings up the side menu, where we can change things like all these various tools that you could use. Focus assist, audio meter and zebra off. Zebra, as you probably know, is a marking system to show where exposures are too high, especially over white points. Turn that off and we get a little bit. Next one down are various overlays for the green. As you'll notice that the 9 grid is off. Turn it on and we get a grid of 9 squares, commonly representing the rule of thirds. And we could have a centre marker, which marks basically the centre of the screen. A safety marker, which puts on another box type, and we can change that colour as well with a marker colour to red or green. And then the next menu down is for how the aspect ratio of your screen looks, i.e. scan modes, ultra scan, overscan, underscan, video access auto, 16:9, auto mirror, flip, horizontal flip, vertical, zoom times. And the next menu down is for everything that relates to the colour temperature and the lookup tables, whether you're bringing those in, and brightness, contrast and saturation. The settings button brings up like the wheel will control the backlight, or in this case the menu. Set your language, transparency, on-screen display time. We'll turn that up. Whether to mute or mute off. Fan as well can be set to either auto or off, or low, medium and high. Generally speaking, the fan will kick in when it detects a temperature, and we can reset all those menus with the reset button, and the return takes us to that screen. Now the next menu we can look at is along the bottom, which brings up some quick access to focus assist, the histogram, audio meter on or off, the brave, vector and all waves. Now if you just want to quickly do the brightness of the screen, if you're on the left hand side of the screen, you can just use an up and down function with your finger to brighten it or lower it down, and then the same on the right hand side for your audio. That is pretty much it on everything like that. I did mention that you could use the HDMI out, which is a loop out, so you could connect up a second monitor or some way of recording what you're actually seeing through the viewfinder. Why would that be interesting? Well, a few YouTubers actually use this function so that they can demonstrate exactly what they're seeing through the viewfinder or on the LCD menu as they are actually working in the real world. So they can show you how things are set up on screen, where the focus point is grabbing, stuff like that. But I haven't got a second HDMI to actually show that, but I can demonstrate it with a blank screen by turning the camera off and utilising that one. So we'll have a look at that in a bit when I've set it up. Right, so at the moment I have connected the HDMI lead into my camera, which then comes into a HDMI video capture card, again into a USB-A to USB mini adapter into my phone. So if I switch my camera on, we should get a signal. And there we are, my little friend. Then of course we can also record this. Either a live push, record or a snapshot. And there we are, recording some things. And I've turned it off. Well, that is that. Well, that's the end of this video. If you've liked it, please give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel and be notified of further videos that I release. So all it needs now is just to say thank you very much for watching. Cheerio.